Welcome back, movie fans, to the ultimate film and TV podcast, the Popcorn Podcast. Stealing the intro from our guest today, Raiders of the Lost Podcast, alongside me, my
I
co-host
thought I
Ryan
recognized
Ferran.
that.
Oh, what was that?
I thought I recognized that.
Yeah, I kind of stole it from you guys. But today we are here to rank the top 10 animated movies. Is everyone excited for this episode?
Yeah, very excited. Animated movies have been part of our lives since we were born and growing up watching them so much. And, we had some iconic ones in our childhood as well as you guys with yours. So I'm excited.
And I still am learning about new animated films. We've been getting into anime the last couple of years, so I've discovered a lot of really incredible animated films in the anime genre that I never watched from all my life, but leading up to like the age of 30.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was letting you guys finish. But yeah, I mean, you guys were born in like what, 1950s, 50s, 60s, right?
1958.
Yeah, let's get it
Oh,
right.
okay. I'm
Get it
sorry.
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But no,
We're
I'm
up
excited
there.
to do this episode.
Oh, we're excited to be here too.
But yeah, do you guys want to take the helm and start your number 10?
Yeah, so top 10. I'll go first. Like, this is my top 10 favorite animated films of all time.
In order.
In order from 10 to 1.
You better pick some good ones.
Number 10, I'm putting Wall-E from Pixar. It's probably my favorite Pixar movie, but I put it down here just as an objective fan at number 10 versus some other Pixar films, which I'm putting higher. But I love Wall-E. I love the character of a robot. It's very much like a silent film, which I adore, silent film storytelling. Not much dialogue, as well as some scary foreshadowing for the future of humanity and technology mixing with our lives, as well as what we could become maybe in a weird, hysterical, dystopian, horrible way we destroy the planet and then go to space and live on a spaceship forever.
Realistic predictions.
It's pretty wild. I love it. I think it's hilarious. It's so emotional, and I love the characters, and I love it.
That's an excellent pick, man. I knew you'd throw that up there somewhere.
But I'm objective. I'm putting it 10.
I like the pick. I like the pick.
Yeah. I have a Pixar movie for my number 10. I have Monsters, Inc. This is probably my most watched animated film as an adult because we have a niece, and when she was little, we would babysit her all the time, and she wanted to watch Monsters, Inc. every day for like months. So I watched this movie a lot of times, and it still cracks me up to this day. I've probably seen it maybe a good 30 to 40 times, like no lie. And for Pixar, it was really when they were coming into their own, coming off of Toy Story. Monsters Inc. was just, I think, an underrated part of their library and catalog. You have two iconic performances and lead characters, and it's just such a fun, entertaining, and exciting movie. Plus, a genius concept of monsters having their own world and actually coming into the kids' bedrooms to scare them for the fuel that they need to provide for their society. I think it's just a brilliant concept by the Pixar team. So I love Monsters Inc.
I think it's a great 10.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, do you want to take it this one?
Yeah, I'll go. My number 10, stick with Pixar, is Ratatouille. Coming off, you don't like that one?
No.
Ratatouille,
It's awesome!
dude.
Okay.
Ratatouille is a great movie. The music, everything about it. Brad Bird directing it. One of the sticks with Pixar a lot. He's a fantastic director, especially in animated movies, and the music too. Music's fantastic from what's his name?
Giacchino.
I mean, it's great. You can't beat Ratatouille. Every time I watch it, I get hungry. So I love that movie so much.
I just watched some of it the other day. It's just fantastic. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like I'm the minority on that one.
It's really when they started using real cinematography for their filmmaking, for animation, developing all that technology.
Digital
There's a
lenses.
game changer. It's a great pick.
Yeah, beautiful movie.
Maybe it's because I just get sick on the ride every time. I just assume.
Are you watching the movie while you're on the ride?
I don't know.
What happens on the ride? Are you like going through kitchens?
You like go through kitchens as the size of a rat.
Plus, you get the awesome homage to it in Everything Everywhere All at Once with Raccacoonie.
Raccacoonie.
Raccacoonie's better than Ratatouille.
It's
man.
pretty funny.
Hey, just my opinion.
All right, let's hear
Coming in hot.
Let's hear your number 10, guy.
Okay, so mine is a Warner Brothers production, and mine's the Lego Movie. I absolutely adore this movie. It could be that I'm a huge Batman fan, and I just saw Batman, just all of a sudden was like great movie. Doesn't matter what happens in this movie, it's going to be the best. But I thought Phil Lord and Chris Miller wrote a great script and directed it perfectly. So yeah, that's
It's
my
a
number
fun
10.
movie.
It's
It's
a
a really
blast.
funny movie too.
I'm
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
The microwave is really
I
funny.
remember
Will
when I
Arnett-
watched that for
Will
the
Arnett,
first
yeah.
time, I
He's
thought
a
it was
great
stop
guy, man.
motion.
People think it is. People
We
think
made
it is.
clips about it. People
Yeah.
people still don't believe us when we've said that. In
We made a
clips.
clip about how they're so detailed with their animation that they had fingerprint smudges on the Legos to show that like they're actually Legos, but they're not. But people are like, no, they're stop motion. It's like, no, it's CGI. It's animation. It's incredible CGI. That's why.
Yeah, I really thought it was stop motion. It's so well done.
Then it worked. Yeah.
Should I take off on number 9 now?
Let's hear
Yeah,
it,
you're
bro.
right.
What do you got?
My number 9 is a recent film, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I think is the best version of the story that we've seen in film and TV. And I thought what he did in terms of changing up the storyline, throwing it into World War II situation, as well as making Geppetto making Pinocchio after having lost a son and trying to replace that hole in his heart and getting life from the mythological beings and the gods to Pinocchio in that interesting way. I thought it was phenomenal. I love the backdrop, makes it more relevant, and people can connect with it more. The fascist regime's taking over, and I thought it was absolutely dramatic as hell. I cried, I laughed, and I had a wonderful time.
Great
It was
pick.
incredible stop motion.
Yeah, I love that
Incredible
movie.
stop motion.
I was really impressed with that. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah, no, it's in my top 5 movies of the year from
Oh
2022.
hell yeah! Yeah,
I
it's
thought it was
fantastic.
Guillermo del Toro. Stop motion just fits him
Mhm.
perfectly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
100%.
I agree with the pick.
Great pick, man.
Thanks, guy.
I'm really impressed with your picks so
I
far.
appreciate it. Well, I have a movie podcast.
Anyone else have anything to say?
At number 9, I have
No, we're all good.
A Diamond in the
Okay,
Rough.
what do you have?
Aladdin for my number 9 pick. This was probably my favorite film as a kid. We wore this VHS out, and the characters are so memorable. Obviously, Robin Williams and Aladdin. The songs are, for Disney songs, they're some of the best ones ever in this film. The animation's super fun, and it is just a really good story and terrific themes. I love the film, and for me growing up, this was like number 1 for me. Absolutely.
I can show you the world.
Shut up.
Shining, shimmering, splendid.
Oh boy, this is
Great
gonna be a
pick.
rough episode.
Talk about this is entertaining.
You have a lovely voice.
Thank you, sir. I've been told I sound like Aladdin because
No,
I
I
have a
love
nasally
Aladdin.
voice.
Yeah, James has a nasally voice like Aladdin. That's what he gets for feedback from fans.
Don't gotta do him like that.
I'll take it.
Okay, Ryan.
My number 9 is kind of a weird one. Not Pixar, not any kind of major movie, but it's Surf's Up with Shia LaBeouf. Dude, this movie, it's so funny. Chicken Joe is a instantly iconic character. This movie, I love it because they kind of go for the like documentary style of it, and it just works so well. It's so funny.
Like
Everything in this
mockumentary.
movie,
Yeah.
the guy, the bad guy, I forget his name, but when he's like hugging his trophy, he's like, this one's a bad girl. This one's rough." Such a great movie. I love the style they went for, and I think everybody did a great job on it. So Surf's Up.
Surprising pick. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That was a great pick. I'm a fan.
thank you.
I have the Flashpoint Paradox, which is another Warner Brothers project. This was directed by Jay Olivia, and it's one of my favorite comics of all time. And it was so cool to see the different storylines, where instead of Bruce getting, this is a spoiler, I guess. This is in the comics, so I guess not. So
No, don't worry,
Bruce
I don't
dies
mind.
instead of Martha and Thomas, and it's just a crazy storyline. And I think the movie's perfect, and that's why I think it has 100%.
Does
Martha.
Martha become Batwoman?
Martha.
No, she becomes the Joker.
No way.
Yeah,
That's wild. That's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah, it's
They
really
should do that
cool.
in a, I've
Highly
heard
recommend.
we have friends who have told us that that's a really good movie. I just haven't gotten around to watching
Yeah,
it.
there's just a lot of movies to get to,
Yeah.
but it's on the list, the long list.
Mhm.
Number 8, I have Spirited Away, which I had not seen until last year and a half when we did an anime episode, and that was recommended to us by a lot of our fans, and it absolutely blew me away. And Hayao Miyazaki is clearly one of the best filmmakers ever in the medium of anime and animation film. It's terrific. It's got incredible messages, incredible animation, terrific characters, such a unique story. blend of like horror and like fantasy at the same time. I thought it was terrific, and I still think about it from time to time.
Excellent pick.
Thank you.
Time to time.
Great choice.
Time.
For my number 8, I picked Grave of the Fireflies, a very heavy and tragic film in the anime genre. I watched this for the first time a couple years ago and was just absolutely floored. I like the animated genre when it can tackle very mature themes that you'll see generally in adult genres. And it was just beautiful animation and a stunning story. And it really, I think, is one of the great tragedies of our time. Like, it's still, just thinking about it gets me all choked up and tears swelling in my eyes.
I don't see any tears.
They're there. Tears are translucent, okay? But yeah, Grave of Fireflies is amazing. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
It's a good.
Yeah, it's a great one. For number 8, I have the absolute classic. It can't not be on the list. It's The Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
This movie's just great. Everybody loves it, except Tommy apparently. But you got Darth Vader voicing Mufasa. Jeremy Irons as Scar is fantastic, and when you're a kid, I mean that's a scary lion. So, I mean, this is the classic animated movie, great Disney movie, and everybody loves it except Tommy.
I didn't say I don't like Lion King.
So you
What
hate,
the
you
hell?
hate Lion King?
Why-
you hate
why-
Lion King and Ratatouille?
Why do you hate it?
Okay, I didn't say anything about Lion King. Ratatouille, that's a whole different story. But that's for another episode. But for my number 8, right?
Yeah.
I think I have the only billion-dollar movie on this list,
Mm.
and this is Toy Story 3. I know it's not everyone's favorite. I think it's the best of the 4. I cried for 40 minutes while watching it. Ryan was there with me. And I just think it's an all-around great animated movie, and it's so emotional and funny. I think it needs to be on this list.
Great pick.
I like it. It's a great movie. All right, I'll take it off with round 7. I have James and the Giant Peach,
I knew you were going to put this on.
which is
I knew it.
a film that I loved so much as a kid. I think someone got it for me on VHS for my birthday. I think Jamie got it for me, and like
Yeah.
I just obviously because of the main character's name is James. Like I put myself as James in his shoes every time I watched the movie. I pretended it was me because I think my brothers. I think Jamie's like, hey, that this is movies like that's you, man. That's James. You're James. That's you. So I was like really resonated with the film, but I think it's so much fun. It's so trippy. Great stop motion animation, and I love the story and the characters. And this was really just one of my favorite movies as a kid when I was growing up with in the family.
One of those lesser known Roald Dahl stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It was
We
a
watched
regular.
lot.
It was a regular in the house of all of us.
Yeah, we watched it a ton. But looking back as adults, it is really weird.
It's
But I like
weird,
that.
yeah.
I like how strange it is. Have you guys seen that one?
I will say I have never seen James and the Giant Peach.
Check
Yeah.
it out.
So it wasn't.
It'll go on my
it wasn't
list,
like
I
a
promise.
Yeah, it wasn't like a
I
big
definitely
hit.
watched that one.
It like came out. We were like the perfect age for it. So like kids our age watched it, but it wasn't like a big successful movie that would get passed down to newer generations. I
Yeah.
would say.
I love it though.
Great pick.
Thanks.
At number 7, I have Ratatouille. This is actually my
There we go.
personal favorite Pixar film. Although I don't have it as their best one, just because they've advanced to the filmmaking in such a high level nowadays. But Ratatouille, the music from Giacchino, I love the French setting. I love the cooking, the food. Remy's such a great lead character. It has so much charm. It has romance. You don't really see that much romance in Pixar movies. So I like how they put that in there with the two human characters. Also, an excellent villain, and then an excellent kind of like side kind of antagonist with Ego. I just think that the movie is pitch perfect from start to finish, and then Patton Oswalt is terrific as the lead.
I get so hungry every
Yeah.
time I watch Ratatouille, even though it's animated.
And then this is when they developed digital camera lenses so that it looks like real cinematography, and the lighting was really breaking new ground with what the animators were doing back then. And obviously, they built upon films like this, but Ratatouille was a big step in the cinematic direction of Pixar.
Yeah, I agree. Great movie.
Well said,
For
man.
my number
Thank you.
7, I have Akira. This is unfortunately the only anime to make my list. I'm not a huge anime guy, but I want to get more into it. But me and Tommy and some other friends of ours watched this, a week ago?
It was the day after my surgery.
Yeah. And I mean, it was great. Start to finish. I went into it completely blind and I was blown away. I love this movie. And the fact it was made in 98 or excuse me, 88 is insane because it looked fantastic. So great story. If they make it a live action movie, I know Jordan Peele has written a script, but he doesn't want to make it. But if they do eventually, it's going to be a tough task. So
For sure, Taika Waititi's been attached
Yeah, he's
to
tapped to
kind of
direct
to
it,
like
yeah.
potentially direct it
Has he?
for a while.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He was high. It was announced last year, and you can see how sci-fi films have heavily drawn from that movie in so many ways.
absolutely.
I like the pick, Ryan.
Thank you.
For my number 7, I have South Park, bigger, longer, and unrated. I think
I thought I was the only one who was gonna do this. Sorry.
See, it's one of the funniest animated movies of all time. Trey Parker is a genius, and the idea of having Saddam Hussein and Satan being like friends with benefits is the greatest idea I've ever seen. I'm obsessed with this movie, and I watch it once a year.
Saddam. So to kick off round 6, I have South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Great.
It's because we were huge fans of South Park growing up.
Since day one.
4 older brothers, so we've been watching it since episode 1, season 1. It was so groundbreaking. It was so offensive and raunchy. No one really ever seen anything quite like it before with these characters and the situations they got into. And then to make a movie that was just as bombastic and offensive and raunchy, I think that's still important to have in comedy, especially back then. You couldn't make this movie today, but man, this movie was a treat for fans of this kind of humor and of the characters. And no one ever puts it on their list besides me and my boy Tommy over there for top animated films. But like everyone forgets about this movie. It was the animated movie of multiple years in a row. Everyone was talking about this because South Park was huge back then in like the early 2000s.
I believe it got an Oscar nomination for song.
Did?
I think it might have been 2.
Yeah, Oscar nominee for Best Original Song, Blame Canada.
Because that's when Trey Parker and Matt Stone went to the Oscars in dresses.
Yeah. They dropped acid and wore dresses.
But man, this movie's incredible. It's just shows my love for the series though, and how much it my formative years I was watching a lot of South Park, whether that was a good or bad thing.
Yeah, it was funny because there were kids whose parents wouldn't let them watch South Park or this movie, and so they would come to our place to watch it.
That was my mother.
Yeah, I love it. At my number 6, I have a little more serious. The Prince of Egypt, which I think is one of the most impressive visually animated films of all time. I think the story kind of teeters off a little bit in terms of the Exodus Moses story. That's why I think the animation is it could be the best animated film ever. I think you can make that case, and I think it may be, but I think the story prevents it from being the best. But even with the story kind of not following through, it does work really well for most of the time. The characters are excellent. Val Kilmer is a terrific lead. But when I watch this film, the monumental creativity that the artists put into this thing is absolutely phenomenal. And so DreamWorks made this film at the same time as Shrek, and the animators didn't enjoy working on Shrek because it was quite simple animation in comparison to the creativity of Princess of Egypt. Not to say anything against Shrek.
Careful,
Shrek
man.
is great. I'm just saying in terms of
yourself.
I'm just saying in terms of an animator, like what you're doing, you know what I mean? Whereas like when you look at Prince of Egypt, every frame is like a beautiful portrait of cinematography and just production design. And so DreamWorks would, if someone did something wrong, they would send them to do animations on Shrek as like a punishment because it was more menial than it was creative with the Prince of Egypt. But I think it's just really stunning visuals in that film. And I think it probably is the best animated film in terms of the actual animation.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
For my number 6, much more recent one, but I do have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish on here.
I heard good
This
things.
movie, I mean, I remember when the first one came out, and it's all right. It's not a bad movie, but I heard great things about this movie and put it off watching it for so long. When I finally went and watched it, we watched it together. It was great. We were both cracking up the whole time. The jokes were hilarious. Animation was fantastic. The art style they went for was kind of more like almost painting like. It looked fantastic. And even the villain, I mean,
Death.
Lobo, Death,
Terrifying.
it was terrifying. Fantastic.
That wolf, he's a death wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Death
Great
Wolf.
villain.
That's nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah. And just Antonio Banderas, basically as Zorro, but a cat. It's always going to be great.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. So many people keep saying amazing things about it. I just haven't gotten around to watching
Yeah.
it, but soon.
It is really, really good.
So I'm kind of piggybacking off what you said, Ryan. I have Akira at number 6 as well.
All right.
I think that if Akira was made maybe early 2000s and later, they would have tried to do the animated series because Akira is incredible. Animation, voice acting, everything's awesome. But they tried to fit 2,000 pages of manga into a 2-hour movie. But it's still incredible. It has one of the best opening 30 minutes I've ever seen in animated or live action. So I hope that someone does an animated series down the line. But all in all, it's just a great movie, great animation, and everything else that Ryan said.
And that bike slide, man, come on. Jordan Peele did it in Nope, which was great.
Yeah.
Round 5, I have Aladdin. I love this movie. All the same.
You gonna sing?
No, I got it out of my system. I think. No, it's out of my system. This might have been my favorite of the Disney movies growing up, compared to all the princess movies, all of the movies like Lion King and this. But Aladdin was maybe my most watched, my favorite. Love the story. I love ancient cultures, and I love Egypt, and I love being in that kind of culture. And I think they just captured it so well with the music, production design, characters. I love it so much. So funny, so heartfelt. Incredible story.
Excellent pick.
Thank you.
Excellent pick.
Scary too.
It is quite scary.
It is.
Yeah, the desert, the cave.
The diamond in the rough. All right, next up, I have another classic for my number 5, The Lion King. I think might be Disney's greatest animated film. It's up there for sure. For us, it was hugely watched, like probably every kid that grows up in America watching Disney movies. But the movie has incredibly resonant themes, terrific characters, some really wonderful standout songs, and I saw the live action adaptation, and it just lacked all of the soul, charisma, and charm and excitement of the original animated film. Even though the technology and visual effects were groundbreaking and incredible, I just didn't feel all the emotions that I feel whenever I watch The Lion King. And then you have Hans Zimmer's score, which is an all-timer. What he did really changed Disney films. They weren't looking for something like that, and he really mixed it up and gave audiences something that Disney had never put into a film for music before. And then I think post Lion King, it allowed composers for Disney to get more creative. But Hans Zimmer definitely paved the way by crafting this incredible score.
It's like that composer meme where it's like Disney asked Tom Zimmer, "Hey, we have a simple story about these animals," and then it's him on the beach with the piano on fire, and he's like, "Ah."
That is every Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah, accurate. Yep.
Except for
There's gonna be
the
nothing
holiday.
going on. He's just
The holiday
every time.
The holiday is wonderful. For rom-com, it's up there, man. It's the greatest ever.
Yeah. For my number 5, this one's a little bit more of a personal pick, but I have Finding Nemo at number 5. Because this movie came out the year I was born, 2003. Yeah, I'm younger than you.
You are.
Yeah,
So
I
I
was in
grew up
middle
with this
school
movie.
when
I
you were
watched
born.
it every day when I was a kid. I love this movie so much. It's so much fun. Nemo's great. Willem Dafoe is Gil, which is, I mean, he's great as that fish. I don't know how he brings so much life into just a goldfish, but this movie's just fantastic. It's funny. It's fun. The adventure they go on. I love this movie. I can watch it every single day if I wanted to, ever since I was a kid. So that's my number 5.
Shark
a good
bait.
pick.
Ooh-ah.
We love that movie. That was another movie that our niece was obsessed with. So we watched a lot of Finding Nemo, but it's a really perfect Pixar film for sure.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is Shrek 1. I think it's just an iconic animated movie. I just watched it this morning. It is still laugh out loud funny to me. They had a lot of adult jokes, and it's just funny, and it has good animation. It aged a little bit, but how can you not love Eddie Murphy as Donkey? It's one of the best characters, and yeah, it's an all-time favorite for me.
I love how they blend in all the famous fairy tale stories into that one story. It's terrific.
All right, my number 4. This has already been beaten to death, but Lion King, for all the same reasons you guys all said, but you gotta put it on the list. It's gotta
Well,
be
someone's
there.
doesn't have it on their list, right?
Oh, does it? He never said he didn't hate it.
I didn't say it's not on my list.
Yeah,
Don't,
see?
don't be putting words in my
See?
Who's
mouth.
on your
I
list?
got it. Yeah, guys, stop putting words in Tommy's mouth. Let Tommy speak up. He's a big boy, okay? But Lion King is goated. I mean, it's got to be in your top 10 at least. I love it. Great characters, great songs, great music, great animation, groundbreaking film.
Change the ground.
Change the ground of films and change.
Who's your favorite character in Lion King?
Simba.
Aw,
Yeah.
That was a great gut answer, like immediate.
My guy.
Scar. Scar's great.
He's such a villain lover.
Voldemort's great.
He's just misunderstood. He's not evil.
It's interesting. He's a complex character. He's
yeah.
complex. All right. To my number 4 pick. Wow. Cruising through this. I have another anime film that's been mentioned before, Akira. I watched this for the first time a couple years ago, and I found it to be stunning, really incredible and remarkable what the animators did in '88. Really paved the way for the sci-fi genre, not in animation, but in film. So many sci-fi films draw heavily from this. You can tell from its influence, not just with story and character, but with the cinematography and animation that they crafted. It's also extremely layered. The number of frames they made was apparently like the most animated frames in history up to that point, and they even invented a lot of new colors for the animation of that film, which is why it looks the way it does and why it like really stands out from other animes, as well as its depiction of lights, like especially the night sequences, like tail lights and headlights. They really paved the way for the advancement of animation in that regard. So it's just an incredible, groundbreaking work. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, so this is why everyone says it's like one of the best ever. I get it now. So definitely Akira is up on my list.
Yeah, great pick.
Amazing pick.
For now, my number 4, I have the fantastic Mr. Fox. Just watched it again this morning, and it holds up. It's so good. It's so much fun. Obviously, Wes Anderson makes every movie beautiful. The cinematography is able to do with the stop motion animation. Everything's perfectly symmetrical, and the writing too. It's hilarious. The way they keep saying "cuss" instead of actually cussing.
You cussing with me?
Yeah. What the cuss are you doing? It's just such a fun movie. Another Roald Dahl story. It's just so much fun. You can watch it. It's nice and brisk. Hour 27. It's a great movie.
It's a great
Here,
pick.
put on this bandit mask.
I didn't put it on my list.
I wanted
my
to.
number 4.
I just couldn't get it to crack my top 10. It was close.
Okay, I'm not the only one. I feel good now. Okay, so for my number 4, I have a little bit of a dark horse, I think. And I think that this is The Iron Giant. This is one of the best animated movies ever. If you don't think so, go fuck yourself. I don't care what you have to say. Vin Diesel as the Iron Giant is an icon, and I cry every single time I watch this movie. And it is one of the best animated films ever.
It's a heavily regarded film. I adore it. I also almost put it on my list. It just barely,
almost
barely
mine
didn't make
too.
it. Yeah.
I just love stop motion. I have a lot of stop motion on mine.
Yeah, but Iron Giant's a wonderful movie. Wonderful movie.
Number 3 for me, I'm going with Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Hey,
in my top 3. I
Here we
adore
go.
this movie.
You guys are pretty close. on
I
your
know.
list.
I would say that Grand Budapest Hotel is Wes Anderson's masterpiece, but I would say that Fantastic Mr. Fox is my favorite movie of his. It's one of my all-time favorite animated stop-motion movies. It's so funny. It hits my funny bone in the spot every single time. I've seen it like a dozen times, and I still laugh at every single spot. I think the characters are incredible. The voice actors are so great, so creative and inventive, and it's really helped solidify stop motion in this century as staying as a art form going forward, as we see obviously Tim Burton experimenting with it with Coraline, and then we also did he direct that?
He did
The Corpse Bride. I'm sorry, Corpse Bride. And then obviously Guillermo del Toro with Pinocchio recently. So stop motion is thriving, I think, right now, with a lot to do with Wes Anderson, with his influence from stop motion on a lot of his movies with different sequences, as well as entirely stop motion films like I Love Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox. But I think there's just something so magical about Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I just escape every time I watch it.
And what's interesting is, like you said, like he has used stop motion in a number of his films that are live action films. He'll throw stop motion stuff in there. But what really sets Fantastic Mr. Fox apart from the others is the sound of the dialogue, and he would record the actors in similar locations to where the scenes take place. So if their scene was outside, he would record the actors outside. If they're in like a metal walled room, he would record them in a room like that to get the reverberation to sound correct, to get the exteriors to sound like it's someone speaking outside, rather than an actor working in a booth and it all sounding pristine. He really made the voices sound like they were in those real environments.
Yeah, he actually put George Clooney inside of a tree.
He probably did.
Just kidding.
But there's actually some behind the scenes footage of him filming George Clooney like running around in the grass and rolling around like as he's performing dialogue. And they were just recording it like that, which I love. It's like, why record it in a booth and make it sound pristine? Why not make it sound like it's like real life? All right. Next up, I have at number 3, Pixar's Coco, which I found to be a beautiful, moving, tragic story about love and family. And I've seen it twice now. On top of the incredible filmmaking, the music is fantastic. It might be some of the best music that Pixar has ever put in a film. And I see that with the story combined with the advancement of the technology of the animation, it was just insurmountable how visually stunning it was. Cinematography was incredible. I love the creativity of the world building. Michael Giacchino's score is phenomenal.
You name dropping Giacchino all day in this episode.
He's all over Pixar,
Fill
bro.
up our episode.
He's Pixar's guy. And then the cast is really phenomenal with both their performances as actors, but also with the singing. And that ending, it gets me every time. I get choked up. And I think it's a really beautiful story and perfectly done. And I think already, even though it's only a few years old, it's an all-timer, especially in Pixar's library.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 3, Tommy, you were just saying, it's The Iron Giant. This movie is so good. It kind of sucks when it came out. It kind of bombed, but over the years, it's become such a classic. Everybody loves this movie. It's fantastic. Vin Diesel as the Iron Giant himself gets you every time. When he's flying off, just Superman every time. Every time. It's an absolute killer. You can watch it whenever you want. The whole cast is great. Brad Bird, again, directing it. Maybe he's probably one of, if not the best, animation directors, in my opinion.
He did The Incredibles, too.
Yeah, he does a lot
Yeah.
of stuff for Pixar. And he's fantastic in everything he does. So, great movie. Love it. It's my number 3.
It's a good pick. I'm also picking a Brad Bird movie at my number 3. And this is The Incredibles. It was pretty much our first, at least for me, was like the first great team-up superhero movie. And it has some great sequences. It's a lot darker than I remember it being when I watched it again. They go through suicide, legitimate gunfights, and they have a peeping Tom moment where they talk about the guy who can see like X-ray vision. He's peeping Tom. He gets arrested for it.
Yeah.
So everything like that, I felt like it just made it feel much more realistic, even though it is animated and it is superpowers. But this is how I think superpowers would work in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Like we wouldn't accept these people. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just think the movie's great.
And a great
Sequel,
score
not so much.
from
Michael
Giacchino.
Giacchino.
Also, terrific villain. Great
Yeah,
villain.
Syndrome is a
Yeah.
great villain.
Syndrome is awesome.
All right, my number 2 is The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think it's one of the most creative movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I love stop motion, and I think they did an incredible job with this film. The world they built, the characters they created, the music from Danny Elfman, singing as Jack Skellington, but not doing obviously the dialogue. What he came up with is fantastic. This dark fairy tale. It's a hybrid Halloween and Christmas movie, which is so fun. So you can watch it like throughout a period of 3-4 months and you're good. Not directed by Danny Elfman, common misconception, directed by Henry Selick. But
Tim Burton.
I mean Tim Burton. Not directed by Tim Burton. But it's called Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But I think it's just such a sensational film. I love it. It's just, I put it on twice a year at least for the Halloween season and Christmas season, and gets me in the mood for those times of year, and I just adore it.
Great pick, man.
Thanks.
I do
My
have to say,
number.
I've never seen the movie.
Really?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa, Tommy! Whoa!
Sorry.
Never seen that
Sorry.
one.
Whoa!
I don't know. I just never watched it.
It's a great
My
movie.
dad told me it
What's
sucked,
this?
so I never put it on.
Your dad said it sucked? Really? Man.
My dad tells me things suck, and then tells me after I watch them he might not have seen it.
That's hilarious. Sounds like most
Yeah.
people on TikTok.
Follow your heart, Tommy. Watch The Nightmare Before Christmas.
All right, my number 2, I have Spirited Away. I think it's a really stunning, beautiful story. Incredible mythology. I like the spirituality that they put into it. Really interesting themes for a children's movie. It felt like it's an old myth that was written hundreds of years ago, but it's a contemporary film. So I think the approach that the filmmakers had to the writing and the animation was really remarkable. And it's a very poignant film, and it sticks with you long after seeing it. And it's definitely an all-timer, I would say. And I haven't seen many animated films, but from what I've seen so far, it's my favorite.
Anthony's phrase for the episode is all-timer.
All-timer.
Michael Giacchino.
Unfortunately, Michael Giacchino did not make the music for Spirited.
Yeah. My number 2, I do have a Giacchino film. In my opinion, it's Pixar's best movie. It's Coco. Like you said before, the ending, it gets you every time. It can't not pull at your heartstrings. It's beautiful, beautiful movie. The cinematography is perfect. The camera works great. And just the colors alone, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous film. The music, the singing, everything about it is just so much fun, and it is so, so good. I love this movie. I think it is Pixar's magnum opus. It's the best one, in my opinion. It's got to be number 2.
That might have been the biggest word you've ever used on this show.
Which one?
Magnum opus.
Dude,
Opinion.
every episode I pull out one phrase. It's just perfect.
He's a wicked
it's
smart
my
kid.
My number 2 is, I know a lot of people around the world think this is the best animated movie, and this is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love this movie, but I don't have an emotional attachment to it like I have to my number 1. I think Shameik Moore as Miles Morales kills it. Great score, great animation, and I'm super excited for the next one.
Yeah, it's really creative.
Yeah.
I like that
Awesome.
film a lot.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
All right. I'm leading off the number 1.
This is it.
That's
Number
it.
1.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
I
I'm
knew
going
I
Toy
knew
Story.
I knew
This is a
Toy
musical
Story.
episode right now.
I knew it wasn't over with
I
the
can't
singing.
always get it out of my system, man. It's gonna come out later on. Toy Story is iconic. Growing up, this came out 1995. Me and Anthony were kids, and we just loved it so much. This defined our childhood in so many different ways, and started Pixar off their first movie. We wouldn't be where we are with animated films today without Toy Story and without Pixar and Steve Jobs taking a chance on this small company, this animation studio, and giving them some cheddar cheese to make this movie based off some shorts that these dudes made at, where they go, to SoCal?
Caltech.
Caltech.
Yeah.
CalArts.
CalArts.
Yeah. Caltech is where all the
All the
NASA
nerds go.
the NASA people go.
That's where all the dorks go.
The JPL people go to Caltech and they fire rockets off into space. What a bunch of nerds! Fucking nerds. Just kidding. It's so cool. But Toy Story is incredible. These characters are still loved so much today. So much that Disney's in such a deep hole that they're making Toy Story 5 now. They need to come out of retirement.
It'll never end. It'll never end.
Tom Hanks is like, God damn it! Like, I thought I was done with this guy. Woody's putting the badge back on, but that's because Toy Story is so loved. I think it's just an incredible franchise. Toy Story 4, I thought they wrapped it off so well, but the first one, the characters, the locations, the story, it was incredible. Never seen anything like it before. It was like a life changer for kids.
Yeah, and it's the only Pixar film that has a franchise with more than 2 movies, right?
Cars has 3.
Cars has 3,
Yeah.
and then a couple like TV movies actually. So Cars and Toy Story are the big ones for franchises.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Yeah.
Incredibles doesn't have a sequel.
Well, I think Brad Bird didn't want to. Well, they did make a second Incredibles.
Okay, there's 2 Incredibles,
Yeah.
3
There should
Cars.
be a third one.
They just don't sequelize like
Technically,
other
Finding
studios.
Nemo has a sequel to Finding
Yeah,
Dory.
Finding Dory.
Yeah.
But I'm saying more.
Terrible.
I said more than 2.
More than 2, so yeah, just Cars
Yeah.
and Toy Story.
Great pick, man.
Thanks, man.
That was a great night. That's
That's
an all-timer.
All timer. Michael Giacchino did the music.
Randy Newman, man. Randy Newman.
That was his pen name.
Oh my god. All right, back to my number one for animated films of all time is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
No way.
Yeah, I think in terms of music, it's got some of the best songs ever in the animated genre. The creativity of the story with the animation, the characters, it's such a synonymous part with both holidays, Halloween and Christmas. I can't think of another movie that pulls that off. And people to this day debate whether it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie. I like to look at it more as a Halloween movie personally.
I like to look at it as like a Christmas
Shut up.
Ween. Christmas Ween movie.
Chris Ween movie. But I remember as a kid, because we watched it a lot, it both scared me and excited me. And it was this weird thing where like I was afraid of parts of it, like the Oogie Boogie terrified me. But then like Jack Skellington was awesome. So it was like this like hate-love relationship I had with it. But like I fought through the fear because I loved it so much. And now as an adult I look at it and I just see it's just brilliant and genius and so much fun, so artistic, and to this day has been matched in those regards for animated films.
Oogie Boogie.
Horrified me as a kid. Horrified me.
It's a scary villain.
I've
Yeah.
never
What's
seen
this?
it.
What's this? There's snowing
He's
in the air. What's this?
When the bugs fall out of him, oh my god.
Nasty.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so left out of this conversation.
Dude, you gotta watch it. You should watch that soon.
You do have to watch it.
Just so
Yeah,
you
how
know.
many times have you seen Shrek, bro?
Way too many times.
But you won't exactly. But you won't watch The Nightmare Before Christmas. Come
Okay,
on,
I didn't
right?
say I won't watch it. I just haven't.
Tommy, homework.
Well, no.
This is your assignment for the week.
This is my assignment for the week?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to give me assignments. Remember, suggested the week for once.
I'm still not gonna do that. With my number one, it's been my number one since the day I first saw it. It came out. It's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie, the whole cast: Shamik Moore, Haley Steinfeld, Jake Johnson, and even Stan Lee making a cameo in there. It's just such a great movie. In my opinion, it is the best Spider-Man movie, and I love Spider-Man so much. So it had to be my number one. Just the art direction they went in as well. They pioneered a whole new way of animating things. So the work that went into this movie from all ends, the cast, the art directors, the music, everything about it, it was perfect in my opinion. I think the movie is spot on for what it was trying to do, and I am so excited for the sequels. I think Oscar Isaac's going to be a killer Spider-Man 2099.
Do you think people are gonna come after us for not putting it in our top 10?
Yes.
2 years old. They're 2 years old, man. Whatever. I have one movie on it. I have one movie on here made in the last 10 years.
Just showing your age, man.
Yeah.
I just have Pinocchio. That's it.
Yeah. Those 60s movies are really good.
Yeah, those black and white movies you guys were living on.
I fucking love black and white movies.
Let's watch High and Low the other night.
I've watched 2 in the last week. They're great.
Surprised they didn't put Fantasia on here.
Well, Fantasia's story isn't that great.
But it was
That
the
movie's
music was
iconic.
done by Michael Giacchino, though.
Yeah. He scored it as a baby. Protege. 2-year-old Michael Giacchino scored Fantasia.
Okay, now for the final number one of the episode. Everyone's been giving me shit about Lion King, and no one was waiting for me to get to my number one, which is not Lion King. But my number one is Batman Under the Red Hood. Okay? I know.
Of course it
Most people have not seen this movie. I don't know if you guys have.
I've heard of
before
it.
he
I haven't
talks,
seen it.
he talks about this movie 3 times a day.
It sounds like it.
Okay.
It's the
calm
first time
down.
he sat
Let
up.
me give my description. Everyone stop judging me. So when I did an acting class in high school, I recited Red Hood's monologue from this movie, and I still got it all up here in my brain. But I think that this was the perfect way to make a sequel off of one of the most iconic comics of all time, Death in the Family, which is the death of Jason Todd, one of Batman's Robins. And Jensen Ackles gives an amazing performance as the Red Hood. And Bruce Greenwood as Batman, his one and only time as the character. Great, with great score, great writing, and just all around great animation. Oh my god! But yeah,
He's
that's
so
my number
excited.
one. I live and die by it.
I've heard good things about it from friends, so I've been meaning to watch it.
That's
Hey,
your
that's
guys'
alright. It's
homework.
valid.
Giving me homework.
On
That's
it,
okay.
bro. On it.
But yeah, do you guys want to hop into the fan questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Also, great
Okay.
list. Everyone's lists were very different, so
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm happy we had some.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of the word.
Different generations. Got some old
Very-
timers.
Yeah, I got some
very
old
good
timers,
list.
Old-timers and younger guys here.
some 12-year-olds next to me.
I'm 9 actually, but that's okay. Yeah.
Do you want to do like you do the odds, I'll do the evens?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
So I'll do number one. This question's from Mark. Do you think The Flash will make more or less than 600 million?
I think
More.
the Flash will make $1 billion easy.
It'll make at least
Really?
800 mil. 800 mil.
A
Yeah,
billion,
yeah.
billion, no
I think it's
problem.
gonna make bank.
Yeah, I think it's
The
gonna
eight-
make. I think it'll make over 600. I'm saying 750 is a conservative guess. I don't
I
know
think the
if it gets
Asian
to a bill.
markets, the Asian market's gonna go crazy for it.
No,
it's gonna
I
make-
think so too. I
yeah.
think the Keaton being back is gonna pull.
If it makes $600 million, then Warner Brothers will be on fire because that is a huge loss because this movie needs to make like $750, $800 million to be profitable for that company.
But I think globally, domestic it'll probably make 400 to 500, but it's gonna make a ton of money overseas. I guarantee it. A ton.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not talking about box offices anymore because me and Ryan got ripped because we guessed Avatar would only make 700 and
Whoa!
look at it
we
now.
called him, we called 2 billion. I called 2 billion.
Come
Mark,
on,
you
man.
remember
James,
12 years
doubt
ago?
James. You can't doubt James Cameron.
I know.
We learned that lesson.
We're not gonna do it again, okay?
Get off Twitter,
Okay.
man.
Dude, Twitter is a scary place.
But the hate for James Cameron on Twitter for Avatar was real before it came out. And I was tweeting like, dude, this movie's gonna pull 2 billion easy. I don't know what everyone's talking about.
Hey, I apologize. I was wrong.
You know, I
love the
know.
movie.
Hey, it's okay, man.
Okay, here's a question from our buddy Oscar. He's submitted more questions than anyone, and we have no idea who this man is. Will there be a part 3 of this collaboration?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, why
we
not?
love you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I don't know if I want to do another one with these guys. No
They
more
talk about
rankings.
movies-
I feel
They
judged.
keep
every
talking about
time.
movies I've never seen before.
Okay.
All right, question number 3. This one's from Ian. Would you rather star in or write a great movie?
Right.
Right.
Oh, you had to think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Star.
Sorry, we know you know what the real answer is. You know it.
I can show you the world.
Everybody look at me.
Yeah, all I need is the camera. I love being on camera, I'm going to be honest.
Starring's definitely more fun, but I feel like writing's a little more realistic for us.
We've always been told we have the face for radio. That was a good question.
That was a good question.
Okay. So if you guys remember, we had a very funny question last time we had you guys on the show. It was the FMK question, and it has been the funniest moment of this show probably since we started it. So, going off of that, this guy Neil said, okay, I hope you guys see this. I asked this question last time Raiders was on. Fuck, marry, kill. Andrew Garfield, Ryan Gosling, and of course, the Raiders' favorite, Henry Cavill.
Oh, man! All right, first of all,
this
it's
is
not
easy
that
for
hard.
me. This is
I'm
easy for
killing
me.
Andrew
Yeah,
Garfield.
killing
right away.
Andrew.
What
Sorry,
the
Andrew.
Killing
He's a
Garfield.
good-looking guy, but he's no Henry Cavill and
Yeah.
he's no Ryan Gosling.
I would fuck Cavill and then I would marry Gosling. Gosling just seems like such a great guy to be married to.
But he doesn't have an accent.
Yeah,
I'm marrying Cavill.
But also
fucking Gosling.
Cavil's such a big gamer. He wouldn't give you the attention you want.
I want to do some stuff on my own too. I'm not that needy. I don't care if he's playing World of Warcraft. Go do it. But like,
Gosling looks like a better partner.
If that's what you want.
Seems like
That's
what I want.
I need
That's
my,
what I want
I need
from
my
Gosling.
space too. All right, I need my space.
So you married Cavill,
I would marry Cavill in a second.
and then you just bang Gosling and bang and like hit it and quit it.
Yeah, that's the rules of the game. I would bang Gosling.
Hit it and quit it. See you later,
But
Gosling.
I'm sorry, Garfield is buried 6 feet under immediately.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Andrew Garfield, extremely
love
talented guy. Terrific guy. I'm sure he's a nice dude.
This is the real right answer to this question.
Yeah, but he's not, for me, he's not in the same level caliber as those two. That's just my opinion.
I'm going to marry Andrew Garfield because I want him to make me a rocking chair. And then I want him to be. He seems just so sweet and just like it's great.
He does, yeah, he does have a great accent.
And then, of course, I'm going to let Henry Cavill do whatever he wants to me. And then, sadly, Ryan Gosling's going to have to go.
Yeah.
I
think
Wow.
Not for
See you
everyone.
later,
It's not for
Gosling.
everyone.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes blondes.
I suppose so.
Okay, I feel judged here, being the only blonde in this call.
I'm just glad that I get to marry Ryan Gosling. Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Get out of my way, Ava Mendes.
There's gonna be toothpicks all over the floor.
Yeah. I think I got to.
He's like too good looking though.
You agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the right answer.
Go.
I'm the only one who married Cavill. Wow. All right.
Because Cavill.
That's all I want.
I'm not surprised.
Come on.
Huh? Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I'm talking about it. Being married to him, would he be a good husband?
Probably.
That's my.
No.
That's
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
be
wondering.
working out all the time.
Yeah,
I work out all the time.
Gosling's been married for like 10 years now. Not married, but with Ava for like 10 years now.
Yeah, they're not
Alright,
married,
really,
right? They're just
I'm
partners.
really happy. I'm really
Yeah,
happy.
there's
for
partners,
them. I'm
yeah.
really happy for them. I really am. They have daughters. It's great.
Sounds like you're
Still
jealous.
Still marrying Henry. I mean, a little bit. Like I don't know who I'm more jealous of, Ava Mendes or Ryan Gosling for their spouses.
They both they have a good situation, both of them.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully, we lived up to the hype of the last FMK.
It was just as funny. I think it was good.
What were the choices we did
All right.
last time? Do you remember?
What was that?
What was the one we did last time? Do you remember?
I actually have it right here, actually. Let me pull my notes.
Yeah, you got it.
You got it, man. Oscar, thanks for the question. Was it Oscar or was it
Oh, no, that was Neil.
Neil? Thanks, Neil.
Thanks, Neil.
Holy shit, that's a lot of questions.
It's okay.
Okay,
Can't
Ryan,
find
you
it.
do the next question. I'll
All
look for it.
All right. So question number 5 is from Emily. What is the best Netflix original movie?
I would
Probably
say
The Irishman.
I would
Irishman's up
say
there for sure.
Mank is really great. David Fincher's film Mank, I really loved. That's a terrific film. The Irishman as well is really good.
Yeah, I think I'd go with The Irishman.
Wait, what was the
There are-
question? I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Best Netflix original movie. I think I might have to go with All Quiet on the Western Front.
I think I'm going to go All Quiet as well.
It's a great choice. There aren't many
I
to choose
found
from
it.
for greats.
Here we go. It was Fuck, Marry, Kill, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Brad Pitt. And one of you said I would let Brad Pitt fuck the shit out of me.
That sounds like Anthony.
I mean, without
That sounds like you.
hesitation.
That sounds like you, man.
Probably. But I changed my answer to the Netflix question. Roma.
Oh,
Alfonso
Roma.
That's a
Cuarón.
good
yeah,
one.
Roma's
Roma.
great.
Alfonso Cuarón's Roma.
All right,
is
yeah. I'm
remarkable.
piggybacking Roma.
Yeah,
It's a
best.
masterpiece.
It's the best thing they've ever put out.
That was a good question, Emily.
That was a great
Great
question.
question.
Oh,
Emily.
I like this question.
Roma.
Who has the coolest tattoo? This question's from Max.
Oh, I do.
Why? Which one's cooler than mine?
My Daniel Plainview one.
I mean, it's your opinion. Mine is. They're both very dorky. I only have one tattoo. It's a Dune quote, "Fear is the mind killer." But Anthony's got several movie tattoos.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
my
no, I
favorite
have
is
two
that
movie tattoos.
I have Daniel Plainview's signature from the film There Will Be Blood. So Daniel Lewis
That's
signed
pretty
his
good.
name. He signed his name on the contract outside of the silver shop, and I screen grabbed it and touched it up in Photoshop to clean it up, and then I got that tattooed on my arm because that's the movie that made me want to make movies. It's very important to me. So, and it's the exact same penmanship as Danny Day-Lewis in the film.
That's a dope tattoo. That's definitely cooler than both of mine. So you got the win on this one.
Cooler
It's
than
pretty
the
cool.
Harry Potter one.
Although you
Don't
get
ask
way too many
Ryan. Ryan
questions.
said There Will Be Blood
Yeah.
is a boring movie.
I didn't say it's
Hey,
a boring movie.
That's his opinion, man.
No,
It's
he's
no
a
big deal.
dumbass.
Daniel Plainview is a great character, though.
I cannot believe you said that.
Fantastic. All right.
He likes what
Question
he
number
likes.
7. This one's from Tommy's dad. It just says Walter White or Saul Goodman.
Walter White.
Saul Goodman.
I think Walter White's the
I've
better
never-
character, but if we're saying who's the better guy, probably Saul Goodman.
Oh,
Saul Goodman.
Yeah, I think Saul Goodman.
I haven't
I
seen
hated
the full. I haven't seen his full show. I've only seen the first season. So Better Call Saul. I haven't. I know people love that show, and they actually some
Yeah.
people like it more than Breaking Bad. For what I've seen from Breaking Bad twice going through that show, and then one season of Better Call Saul, I'm still picking Walter White as a character. I think he's incredible.
Walter White's the best character put on television.
He's up there.
Without question.
Tony Soprano's pretty high up there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Tony Soprano doesn't have the character arc that Walter White has.
Yeah,
Tony Soprano is the mob boss when the show starts.
well, not that high up.
Well, not, but he's still like it's not like he was an English teacher who became the head of the mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walter
Okay, and then we
White's
got
awesome.
one final question. This question is from Connor. What is your guilty pleasure movie?
Oh, that's a good question. So,
Guilty pleasure movie. It's
Commando.
but it's not bad.
Mm.
It's great.
It's not great writing. Like also like the third act where he's fighting that guy. Like, there's no way Arnold isn't sweeping the floor. With
Yeah, that guy is. Yeah, he's not in shape at all. But, he's got like noodle arms. Looks like he hasn't lifted a weight in his life. He's apparently holding his own against Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's a great pick, though. Yeah, I get it.
That's like it's so cheesy and corny. This guy just is a one-man army kind of thing with like strap it up and getting all the grenades and the weapons and everything. It's incredible. It's not a great movie, but guilty pleasure, dude. Hell yeah, it's so fun to watch.
I like rom-coms as a guilty pleasure, and I would say How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days gets me. I think it's a very charming movie.
It's a great
I like
movie.
that one.
Andy's been trying to figure it out for a while now.
Well, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I can't get him off me,
He
man.
gets too attached. Stage 5 clinger over here.
I might have to go with just Michael Bay in general. Like those Transformers movies, they might suck, but they are so much fun every time.
I hate those movies. Besides the
I've
first
only
one.
seen the first two. I've only seen the
Anything
first
with
two.
First one's
explosions
good.
is just a
First
great
one's
time.
good.
Agreed.
First one is
He's
good.
not a bad director. He's not a bad director.
No?
He just
No,
makes bad
he's
scripts.
just Michael Bay.
He's good at what he does.
He makes movies with just mediocre scripts, is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He makes
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Yeah, he makes a shit ton
He's
of
a
money.
very
fun.
successful guy, you know.
And then mine is actually right behind us. It's Daredevil, the director's cut.
Oh my god.
I love this movie with a passion, and it will always be epic to me. And that is the best suit ever.
I have to look at that goddamn poster so often.
So, how ridiculous is the scene where Bullseye kills that lady with a peanut? It makes
Speaking
no
of
sense.
Posters,
Yeah.
thanks to movieposters.com for sending us that one.
Oh hell yeah. They're a great company.
Great company.
They are a great company.
Mhm.
Definitely used you guys as like leverage. Was like, oh yeah, we're such best friends with James and Anthony. Give us a sponsorship.
They're, I mean, and I'm not just saying it because they sponsor us, but they, I think, are probably the best poster company there is.
Really great customer
I wouldn't
service.
want to get posters from anywhere else.
We do giveaways with them twice a month, and they're
Yeah.
always like boom, boom. As soon as we do not give them the winner's address, the poster ships. So
And they're really good prices too. They're not charging a ton.
Yeah, no, I love them. I mean, our whole room is full of just posters from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this episode was an absolute blast. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did.
Absolutely.
Super fun.
Thanks for having us on, fellas.
lots of laughs.
Of course.
Like usual.
Do you guys want to tag all of your stuff before we get out of here?
Basically just Raiders of the Lost podcast on every platform. We film everything, so we're on YouTube as well as Spotify, Apple. Find us on Instagram, Raiders Lost Podcast, Twitter, Raiders Lost Pod. I run that. James, Anthony does a lot of the other stuff as
The
well.
letterbox is also Raiders Lost Pod.
Yeah, so just you find us anywhere. Even just Google Raiders Lost Podcast. You find everything about us.
Thanks, John.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Guys, go check them out. They are the best podcast in the film and entertainment industry.
Oh,
Well,
shucks.
maybe second behind us, but very close second. No, we love these guys, and we can't wait to have them back on the show again. Make sure to tune in to all of our episodes. Sorry we didn't do The Last of Us review this week. It will be a 2-episode review next week. But yeah, make sure to listen to us on Google Podcasts, Apple Music, Google I say Google Podcast,
Yeah, you said that.
Spotify, and
Everything
anywhere else
but
you find
Pandora.
podcasts, except for Pandora because they still hate us. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.
So yeah.
Take care.